Hey everybody, welcome to Teen Time. It is Monday, October 20th, and we're so glad to spend some time in connection and community with each and every one of you. This might be a surprise to some of you, but Dee is not here. She is up at Sundance, and we got a message from her today that she has been asked to speak on the Eyelet call. She is fired up about some of these things that they have announced and shared, and she wants to tell us. So tonight, right after, so the Eyelet call, which starts at 8:30 in Dan Bell's room. If you need the link, let us know. Put it in the chat. We would love to see if we can get as many of us as possible on that call to support Dee and also hear. I want to know what's going on. I know everybody probably does. It's exciting for sure. But we've got about 10 days left in the month, which is wild. Time is just flying by. Tonight is going to be an awesome call. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of time for every single person on this call to share and to just connect in community. But we're going to talk about core values. And as most of you know, I recently turned 40, and I've been having what I call a life realignment in my life now that I am 40. I like that phrase so much better than a midlife crisis, a life realignment, where I've been focusing on my core values and what those are as I'm realigning things. And it's been a great life lesson, for lack of a better word. Core values are the fundamental beliefs and guiding principles that direct the behavior and decision making of an individual. We know that that's a word we hear a lot, right? Our core values. But how often do we really think about what those core values are? In my experience, I don't think about them a whole lot until something is broken, right? So for example, my pool today broke again because it didn't have enough water in the pool, right? So the pump stopped working. So whenever any of our values are broken or not working optimally, that's when we tend to not work optimally or when we start to break too, right? So I think this is just such a great thing to talk about. And I've spent some time studying some core values and wanted to share 5 of them that we believe will help you in your business, grow your business, and just live a more joyful life. And so we've got 5 of them that we're going to share tonight. But before we do that, we would love to start a round of tell us something good. If you've got something good going on in your life, in your business, with a client that you are just really excited about or proud of, or maybe even something in your own personal health. And as you're thinking of your thing, it would be really cool, I think, if as many of us as are on, if you could just share something. But I'll just share. I just got off the phone with a brand new client who has never done our program before, who is, we're going to order her kit. So that's really exciting. So that's something good going on. But I have a client who came back after being gone for a while. In 1 week, she lost 6 pounds. And she said, y'all have to tell everyone about this pretzel fueling. It is so delicious. So that's your plug tonight if you haven't tried the pretzel fueling, to throw it in your kit the next time you order. But who wants to be next? Tell us something good.
I'll go. I just have to say I had the strawberry cheesecake bar. Yum. Has anybody else had it? It is delicious. Love it, love it.
Love that. Delicious, pun intended, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Who's next?
I ordered it and I ordered the pretzel, but I haven't got them yet, but I can't wait. But I know they're going to be good. But I have a new client that started. Well, she's not actually a new client. I found out that she had a coach 15 years ago. I know. It's like, wow. Okay. So, but anyway, I went through all that and she started today. And so she's wanting to eat carrots. And I'm like, she goes, I don't see carrots on here. Now, where is the carrot? And I said, well, how about celery? I hate celery. Okay. Well, how about pickle? I hate pickle spears. Okay. Well, let's see what would you like? And then she told me what she was having for lean and green, and it was perfect. So all good.
Good. That's exciting. Who else?
I'll go because I've kept it kind of quiet. I have gone on plan, off plan, on plan, off plan, on plan, off plan for way too many times. And so obviously there has been no success, but I am down now, I think like 11 or 12 pounds. And just a matter of, thank you, just a matter of really sticking to it. So full disclosure, because I know this is not an Optavia approved plan, but I've kind of been doing the 3-2-1, which is 3 fuelings, 2 of the whey protein shakes, and 1 lean and green. And I have found it satisfies me a little better, and it's working, so I'm not complaining.
Woo! That's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations. That's awesome, Vicky.
thank you.
It's great. And if you just joined us, we are sharing our wins of the week, either in your personal health or in your business. So does anybody else want to go next?
Well, I'll go to piggyback off Vicky. Same story, on off, on off, on off. Maintained my weight loss for like 4 years, and then just poor choices. No one's to blame usually but us. But came back on the program weeks ago. I think I was down like 9 or 10 pounds, and then stalled for a little while, and then yesterday recommitted. And yesterday and today have been so easy, and I don't know where the roadblock was, but hopefully it's gone.
Good.
And it's just working through. Frank and I were sitting in my office the other day, and he says, "What would you tell your clients?" And I'm like, "I don't want to hear that," but it's true, you know. So
So good. So good. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else? I have a feeling y'all are so excited to talk about these core values that you're like, I don't even want to celebrate. I want to just see what the core values are. So we will jump over to our next segment, which is the 5 core values that will help you grow your business and live life just more joyfully and have more fun. The first one is a great one, and we have a guest who is going to come share with us a little bit more on it, but it is don't let discouragement control you. So core value number 1, don't let discouragement control you. And I can't think of anybody better than Stephanie Sweeney to share with us for a couple of minutes on how she has lived out that core value or how she plans to in the future. So Stephanie, will you share with us?
Yeah, this really spoke to me, just because I think we've all been there with discouragement, whether it's from our clients just ghosting us, or us being on off plan and our own progress regressing, and also then that comparison then creeps in then too. But I think like with discouragement for me, I have to really, and this is what I love about all these core values, is that they kind of just shift back to what is our core of Optavia, which is our mindset changes. I mean, we can have so many different weight loss plans out there, but we have that mindset change. And so if we think of discouragement more as it's not failure, but it's feedback. And when we get discouraged, that's really getting to the core of like, okay, we really want to change then. There's something happening that we're just fueling for a change. And then kind of shifting away of that comparison, get out of that comparison mode, or that, what psychologists call that spotlight effect, where you think that everybody is focusing on what you're doing wrong when they're really not. They're just focusing on their own journey. And so I think if we can just shift all of that. And then I was thinking of what are the tools that I have used, like when I get into that discouragement and trying to again shift from like it's not failure, but it's feedback. I think of ABCs. Like I go back to my ABCs, where acknowledging that feeling, acknowledging, yes, I'm discouraged and why. And then for the B, to breathe. I think if we our breath is the only thing that that we do as humans that is conscious and unconscious. We do it unconsciously also. So if we can consciously breathe and then just kind of reshift and refocus. And then I think for C is to connect, when we get discouraged, to show up and connect with our community, or to connect with those clients that perhaps are ghosting us, still maybe connecting with them in a different way. And so then thinking of, those ABCs, and of course me with music, then Michael Jackson's Five ABCs came on, and then throw that song on and start dancing, and then get out of your discouragement. But I just think that it's also just a reminder that, that acknowledgement, breathe, and connect, those ABCs, to get out of that discouragement, shifting, and know that we have the tools, the mindset tools. And if you're all nerds like me, pull out your Habits of Health and book and start reading that or listening to it now that it's all on, Audible, um, yeah, so I didn't want to take up too much time because I want to hear some more of those values.
That was awesome, Stephanie. I love that. The ABCs. And I love how you talked about dancing, dance oftentimes in music is one of those things that can swap our moods and get us excited and get that energy to shift. So thanks so much for sharing that. That is awesome. Okay, so the second core value is celebrate with others. And I have a question for everyone on here. How did you feel a few minutes ago when Vicky talked about how she lost 10 pounds, 10 or 11 pounds, and how Shauna did the same? What emotions did that give you? If you'll pop them in the chat or come off mute, what did that feel like in you when you heard that from them? Excited, thrilling, pride, excitement, happy, encouraged, encouragement, excited for their friends. Awesome. I love that. Me too. And celebration can do that, right? Celebration and hearing about the wins of others, whether it's in their business, whether it's in their health or in our clients' health, right? It can elevate things for us. It can give us hope for, why this plan works, why it matters, why we keep contending. And so celebrate with others. That is another core value that helps us just keep that perspective, which I think is so, so important. Okay, so the third core value, we're going to hear from another one of our favorites, and that's Shauna Davis. Shauna's going to talk about the core value of focusing on what really matters. So, Shauna, over to you.
Okay, thanks. Well, I want to start off by saying, let's be honest. It's easy to get caught up in all the noise, right? Like, who's felt that way at one time or another? I think I've felt that way a gazillion times through this journey. And sometimes it's the messages that we're hearing. Sometimes it's the notification of canceled orders, or goals we miss, or maybe it's the feeling that everything has to be perfect with our posting and sharing that gets in the way. But here's what I've learned in 8 years of coaching. What really matters is the people. All the other stuff, it's just noise, y'all. It's just noise. It's the impact that you and I have as coaches. It's that moment when a client messages you and says, I feel better than I have felt in years, or I feel like myself again. Like, we've heard those messages, right? Or maybe it's the message you get from that brand new coach and they're so excited to sign up their first new client. These are the wins. And that's what that's at the heart of what we do. We're not just building a business. We're showing clients how to better their lives. We're showing others how to build their own coaching businesses. And we're not just coaching healthy habits, we're coaching and sharing the opportunity of hope. So I want to just take a moment and I want you to just think, just for like a second, why did you step into coaching? Because when we go back and we focus on what truly matters, the connection, the community, the compassion, everything else falls into place. And everything that feels hard pales in comparison to that, if we can just go back and hang on to that and remember it. But I also want you to remember something else really important. You can't pour into others if your cup is empty. So remember to take time to fill your cup too. Focus on your mindset, your energy, and your own personal health. And when you're aligned, your clients will feel it. Your team feels it, and your business just grows naturally. So I want to just remind y'all, as you go into this week, Let's tune out all the noise and focus on progress over perfection, connection over comparison, and purpose over that pressure that we put on ourselves to be perfect. When our focus is on what really matters, we aren't just building a business, we're building impact and touching hundreds of thousands of lives. That's my take on that.
So good. So good, Shauna.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so progress, connection, and what was the third one? I couldn't write fast enough. Or for you said progress over perfection, focus on connection, or ways that we can focus on what really matters. And you're
I gotta unmute myself. So it's progress over perfection, connection over comparison, and Stephanie talked a little bit about that comparison trap, and purpose over the pressure to be perfect. Because I think a lot of us struggle. Is our post perfect? Are we sharing the right amount? And we just get so caught up in all. To me, it's just all the noise.
so good.
Thank
So
you.
good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks.
So for our fourth core value, so just to kind of go over the first three again. So we said number one was don't let discouragement control you. Number two was celebrate with others. And number three was focus on what really matters. Number four is to stay engaged. And every single person on this call, there's 16 or 18 of us on this call. You are doing it right now by being on this call on Monday nights, by being here, you are staying engaged. But I would love to know, how do you, other than being on this call, which you're doing, but how else do you stay engaged as you are coaching with Optavia? What are some of the key things that you do to stay engaged? You can pop it in the chat or come off mute. Shauna shared she's on Team Time every single week. I feel like Team Time is a little bit like going to the gym, right? Like usually we can probably think of something else we need to be doing at 7:28 on Mondays, like making dinner for somebody or homework or what something, a million probably things for you, right? But how I always feel so much better after spending time here with this awesome group of people. So I agree. Lots of things coming in. Team Time Weekly, creating posts surrounding health. That's Vicky. Look at the Optavia Facebook to see what's new and what people are celebrating from Linda Young. Frank said, Team Time, attended weekly every day, making a post. Stephanie said, post on Eat, Live, and Be, encourage new clients on our team. Love that. Gina said, if I miss, it's the first thing I listen to the next day. And then Shauna said, talking to my coach regularly. Those are great things to do to stay engaged. And I'll just do a little plug for Dee's call. She texted a couple of things that they've announced already. And it's like very major, very major. So you will want to hear these very major things. It's a big deal. And so if you want to know, stay engaged and be on that eyelet call. I don't know the details, but she just texted. I said, are you going to share this on the 8:30 call? And she said, yes, I will be. So you will want to hear, because we all want to hear, because if you're here, you want to stay engaged. So I just want to put that little plug in for being on Dan's call. And then number 5 is the number 5 core value is that we look to the future. Now, Julie Applewalker, you are one of the OG coaches. I think maybe you and Linda probably are duking it out for the most OG of the OGs. And Beth, I don't know. We'll see. But would you share with us a little bit about how you look to the future and how that's a core value for you?
Yeah, hey you guys. So I told Meg I would share on this last week. And then it was wild because today I'll be like maybe in tears in a minute, but I spent the day with my grandfather who's 90, almost 91. And they told us that he has just hours left to live. And so I'm sitting there like, oh, I think I might just cancel on this tonight because there's no way I'm going to be able to share. But I thought, as I'm sitting there with him, I'm thinking here's somebody who's lived 91 years. What do people say? You know, like thinking about the future, right? How do we each like make our moments count? That's what I just kept thinking as I'm sitting there with my grandfather. Like, when's he going to take his last breath, you know? So I'm sure probably many of you have sat with somebody who's passing, and it's kind of gut-wrenching. But then I just remembered, you know, there is so much that we need to think about when you're thinking about the end, right? And that was just so real to me today. I'm like, gosh, somebody whose life is about to end, we each are going to face that, you know? So I just kept thinking, what's in this for you, Julie? And what do you want to share with other people? Because this is a pretty pivotal moment. And so I just encourage you guys. The thing that I keep thinking about is the Optavia, one of our core principles or that we talk about is lead from the future, act in the now. So I keep thinking about that is what do we want to do now, but lead with the future in mind, you know? So it's a wild ride as an entrepreneur, whether we're in Optavia, whether you have any kind of business, it is a wild economy and a wild ride. But we're each here probably because we have the same passion and like desire to help people and the impact that we want to have, right? I'm guessing we're all here for that reason too. What do you want to do for your clients? Like that's what kept coming back to me today is like the heart and the passion around this. And many days that, I'm not going to lie, that slips, right? Because you're like, oh, like Shauna just said, you get another cancellation email or this coach doesn't want to do it anymore. And you're just like, why do I do this? It's hard, right? Anybody relate? But then you think about things like this, somebody's life ending and it's close to you and you're thinking, I want to impact these people, you know, like I want to help my clients and I do want to have them live healthier days, you know, to be 91 and be able to still be active in their late season of life and retirement. And so many clients lately have been like these retired clients. And I'm like looking at them and talking to them weekly. And I'm like, you guys have so much more life in you and you're making the changes that matter now, you know? So it was just a pretty in my face reminder of why are we doing what we're doing and looking to the future. And then a friend of mine sent me this quote the other day and it said, you don't need motivation. You need a mirror and promises to yourself that you refuse to break. And I really liked that because I think motivation is fleeting, you know, like we definitely need discipline. Motivation is gone tomorrow. We start well in the morning and it's gone by the evening, right? So it's got to be more than that. It's got to be discipline. It's got to be so much more, but it also is like refusing to give up for what you want, you know? So like that passion and that purpose, why do you want to help people? Why do you have a business? Why? It's got to be something that's like connected to you. And then you're not going to give up. You're not going to break your promise to yourself if you look at it that way. So hopefully that helps you guys. It helped me today. Just the reminder of life is so precious and what are we actually doing to help people? I hope that encourages y'all too.
So good, Julie. So good. So good. So glad that you showed up here, that you gave us that encouragement. I hope you can check out the chat. There's so many good encouraging comments in there. Stephanie just said, reminding me of the quote, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And that is such a good reminder. So thank you for being here, thinking about you and your grandpa and all the things that are going on. But really great perspective and something like we are doing when we are helping our clients, we are helping to increase their longevity that hopefully they can live till they're 91, right? And working on those habits. So such a good reminder. Okay, so there were 5 core values that we talked about. Don't let discouragement control you. Celebrate with others. Focus on what really matters. Stay engaged and look to the future. And I'm just curious. Okay, those are 5. What are we missing? What core value do you have in your life that you think we ought to talk about or that we ought to just feature tonight? Is there one that we're missing other than these 5? I know Optavia, we certainly have a great number of core values that we talked about. on a different call. But is there one that comes to mind that you would add to this list of 5?
I think compassion is one because we sit in a place where people are so vulnerable with us. And one of the things I learned very early on was the woman who only had 10 pounds to lose, her pain over that 10 pounds and carrying that 10 pounds was just as great as mine was when I had almost 90 pounds to lose. And I didn't understand that until I started really listening and sitting with these people and clients and hearing the pain over, what they saw in the mirror, even if it was just 10 or 15 pounds. So I think compassion has got to be at the core of what we do.
So good. So good. And so easy to forget, I think, when you've been doing this a while and you see somebody lose 100 pounds or 50 pounds, like that 10 pounds matters just as much to that person that lost 60 pounds. So that's great. Compassion. That is such a good core value and important. Can anybody think of any others? Julie put empathy is one of the highest values on the Habit Finder. That is true. Empathy is a good one.
I would probably throw out gratitude, because I think a lot of times we take for granted not only what we have, but what we offer. And Shauna and I, full transparency here, right? We're watching a show on Netflix right now called Poldarks, and it's basically about a family back in the late 1700s, and they have no electricity, no heat, and all their lights by candlelight. And so we just take for granted that every time we turn on the faucet, water comes out hot and cold. We take for granted all the modern conveniences that we have, smartphones and television, internet, and a car. And we take for granted even this coaching business. I mean, even for those that reached, ED, MS, $2,000-$3,000 a month. There's a lot of families out there that are not making that, and they're working full-time jobs. So, we take so much for granted. So just, for us, not to get religious or anything, but we know where our blessings come from. And, often we neglect to remind ourselves of that. So I think gratitude has really got to be high up there.
That's a great one, Frank. Thank you for sharing that. That's a big deal. That's awesome. Any others? Julie's really teeing us up right now when she said, embrace change. It's the only way to grow by getting out of your comfort zone. And I'm just telling you what, this text from Dee is like, we're going to be embracing some change with these announcements that are coming, which I think is exciting. It's also can be a little scary, right? Like some things are shifting. And Vicki said, come on, tell us, or, I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, let us know. I don't know the answer, but it does look like we've got, and Dee, if you watch this, I'm sorry if I'm spilling the beans, but it looks like there's a new brand that they're going to be talking about, a new plan, new product line, all 3 of those things. They're going to talk about tonight at 8:30. So you're going to want to be there, and we're all going to want to embrace change with what's happening. And it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a little scary, but it's also really exciting. So it's a good reminder, Stephanie, we will stay curious, we'll stay eager, and keep these core values in mind as we continue on and look to the future while also focusing on what really matters, which is helping people believe in themselves and transform their health. So that's all we got tonight. We will end the call now as we transition over. 8 o'clock is the client call. And then 8:30 will be the eyelet call. So right after this 8 o'clock call, Dan Bell's room, the link is there in the chat from Frank. Thanks so much, Frank. And we will see y'all here next Monday night. We love you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.